So today I'll be showing you how to work on a light skin model for a bride. So this is actually the transition. So for the brows, it's always advised to groom the brows lightly in order to get this natural feel brows. Now, because the model actually pleaded so bad that she wouldn't want her brows to be too groomed, I had to groom lightly. What I had to do is that I had to remove the excess. I brushed using my brow tamer. You can use your edge control for this, but I brushed using my brow tamer. Then I used my half razor to groom the brows. Using half razor is not mandatory. I repeat, using a half razor is not mandatory. I use half razor because I feel it's suitable for me. So if you're not cool with half razor, I don't think you should do so. Now I went in with micellar cleansing water. One thing I must advise, wipes alone is not enough to clean the dirt out of the face. So you're advised to use micellar cleansing water. After cleansing, to give the face that smooth feel, I have to spray the face using the setting spray. Now, for the sweat block, I need to apply sweat block all over the face. And the sweat block I'm using is from CPD. Now for moisturizer, I'm going in with La Vida moisturizer to moisturize the skin and under the eyes properly. Now for the lips, I moisturize the lips using my Nia lip balm. For primer, I prime the face using my primer. The primer is from LD. I use it to prime the face properly. Sorry. After that, I use my setting spray to set the face. Now I'm going in with foundation. The foundation I'm going in with is Elegance. Now there is something you have to understand about this skin. This skin is not the shade of foundation I am applying. Her shade looks kind of white. Now, if you're using this shade of foundation, you should mix it with a shade that has a white undertone. So, I'll be going in with Davila's. Davila's color 1 has a white undertone. So if you use that Davila's and this Elegance, you will get a shade that looks like her shade. You know, some people would do a glam and it will look too yellow. Not that the client or the model is not light skin. That's because they don't really understand the mixture behind the skin. So now since she is light skin, but her light skin is not yellow, it's kind of white, I mixed a little bit of yellow and more of white. But then I mixed it properly to get her shade. Now while blending, this is something you need to take your time. Trust me, if you don't take your time to blend, you wouldn't get a good result. If you don't take your time to blend, you wouldn't get a good result. I blend. Now I went in with blush. The blush I'm using will be from my lip palette. You can use any lip palette of your choice. For light skin, I like using something that looks like orange. So it will not be too dark on the person. So it will still look natural. So I went in with a dark orange I had. I'm supposed to use a light orange. But because I don't have a light orange in my lip palette, I went in with a dark orange to use my contour blush and apply as my blush. See, one thing about this makeup is that the moment you learn how to start improvising, that is the moment you start making your money out of it. So if you observe, one other side of the blush is more than the other, I would have to balance it, but I wanted to balance other parts. Now the concealer I'm going in with is from Davilas, Develas, Davilas Cosmetics. They are mixed cosmetics. It's not a single cosmetics concealer, it's a palette. So if you observe, I used a white kind of shade of concealer because of the kind of tone she has. While applying, always look at the tone. Try to make sure you can fix it up in your head before applying. Now after applying, I had to blend properly. Not blending from the inner corner but from the outer corner. Now after that, I'll be going in to blend the other parts of the face. The truth is that while blending, you need to blend properly, because if your blending is not proper, your outcome will not come out nice. So it's best you blend properly. So this is the end product of blending. You can see that at some point it tallies with her skin. Remember the color balancing I did over here. Now I went in with Sephora powder. If you don't have Sephora, please use your powder palette. It mustn't be Sephora, okay? I just decided to use Sephora. Then I used the powder to set the highlight regions. You already know the highlight regions. The highlight regions are the places you apply concealer. So you apply. Blend. Now I'm going in with Davilas to apply on the face. Just like I said earlier on, you can use your powder palette to do this. I'm using this because I have it. So if you don't have it, kindly use your powder palette. Okay? So I'm blending the face with my powder before I would go in with my setting powder. Reasons why I do this is because I don't want the face to have a harsh look. Now I'm going in with my Gentle Dove powder. The truth is that this Gentle Dove is underrated. The owner of this brand carefully sourced out the best products, the best, will I say the best ingredients? I don't know how to put that together, but the owner really tried because I've used high end and I've also tried this brand. This gives the high end feel you all have been looking for. In fact, I would classify it as a Nigeria high end brand. So I advise you to buy Gentle Dove setting powder. You would not regret it. So just as you know, you apply setting powder on the highlight region. My mother had a teary eyes, but I tried all I could do to stop the tears. So if you observe, the two shades of powder were different. A lighter one and another one that has a little bit of yellow undertone. Okay, let me explain. First off, the first application is called setting, while the second application is called baking. Reasons why I went in with a lighter one was because she's light skin, but she doesn't really have a yellow undertone. Okay, let me explain. She's light, but then her lightness doesn't look yellowish, it looks white. So I went in with an undertone that looks a little bit white. Then I used the powder that has a little bit of yellow undertone to balance it up. If you can actually get this color balancing, like the color wheel balancing properly on skin, you can use any brand and it will still come out well. So for the nose contour, I went in with a yellow powder. You can see that it's obviously different from her skin. So imagine if I was using a yellow powder for her skin, she would have looked yellow all through. Yes, it will come out well, but that is not her skin tone. This is what clients and brides look out for while booking a makeup artist. Now, reasons why I used a yellow powder for her nose contour is because I'm doing a contour and I don't want it to look too harsh. I still want it to look soft and intense. So the only alternative to use was using the yellow powder from my powder palette. And the powder palette I'm using is La Vida. You can check them on Instagram. Now after that, you can go in with that same powder to do the contour. So there's what is called a reverse contour. A reverse contour is using a lighter shade of powder to apply under the contour. It gives the face a lifted look. Sorry about that. My mother and I, we are very chatty about the whole makeup stuff, so that's why she kept on talking. For me, I prefer you get a big powder brush. It helps you to blend more and even. So because I want to use pigments, I really don't want to use, I won't be going in with eye primer. I will go in with lipstick. A dark lipstick would work as my base. So now I'm going in with a lip stain as my base because it has a dark shade. Instead of using eye primer, so I went in with a lip base and then I blend properly. You should always have a salvet or your tissue on your hand so you can blend properly and evenly, and so you don't spread the excess. So now I went in with orange shade as my transition, a very light orange shade as my transition. You can use any shade of your choice, but I do prefer orange shade as my transition, and I try to blend properly and evenly. Now for my pigments, I'll be using MK Beauty. I'm using the shades. I'll be applying the darker shade first as the base, while the lighter shade I will use it to top it up. So for this application, you can use your brush, you can use your hand. So it's up to you. At some point, I prefer using my brush. At some point, I prefer using my hand. So I use my hand to apply my pigment glue, not too much, just a little. Then I also use my hand to apply the pigment I want. Just like I said earlier on, the darker shade will be my base, which is this shade. Remember, I used two shades, and the shade is from NK Beauty. All what I'm using is on Instagram. Just type them there, you'll see it on Instagram. Now to remove excess, I just use my brush to remove excess. Now before I apply the glue, the lighter shade, I had to go in with my glue to apply at the middle. So now I went in with a darker shade to just make the pigment pop, but the darker shade I'm applying it at the end though. I use the powder for this as my darker shade. So yeah, if you don't have eyeshadow that has that brown, you can use your powder for this. So to lift up the eyes properly, I used my concealer to just lift up the eyes. I didn't use the shade that is too light. I used the shade I can easily blend. So better still, just use her shade of foundation to lift up the eyes. So after that, I spray the face using my setting spray. Now I'll be going in with lip moisturizer to moisturize the lips. I'll be using two different lips from two different brands, New Balm Cosmetics and My Chick. So I'll be using it on the lips. I really don't want to get a very orange lips, so I will just go in lightly with it. So you just watch how I blend. Blending of the lips is actually self-explanatory. If you want your model's lips to blend properly, always tell your model to smile. It helps you to blend the lips properly. So I went in with a pinkish shade to blend the lips also. So you can mix like up to 6 colors. As long as you blend them properly, that's what matters. So I'll be using the My Cheek to outline the lips. It's best you have a very sharp brown sharp brush for the lips so you can get a precise outline. It's better that way rather than later you start trying to conceal to get that precise outline. So for my model's eye, she had a teary eye, so that's why one part of her eyes are looking cakey. But I just let it slide while I do other things. be applying much gloss, because I noticed recently that too much gloss tends to make the lip stain itself to go off easily. So yeah. So I'm going in with my Zara liner mascara to line the eyes to my desired shape. I wanted to buy Zara mascara because they are good. When I mean they are good, they're actually good. So yeah, get a Zara mascara and liner today. So after that, I had to go in with drawing the brows. Remember, I already groomed the brows to the way that it will be way easier for me to draw. So most times how you groom your brows matters a lot. So I went in with color 18 pencil to draw the outline. Then I just followed the trace of the brows that I groomed. Now you saw me going in with a dark pencil. I'll be using that dark pencil lightly, not too much, lightly on the brows. You see, I outlined the other side too. So because I feel I really don't need much pencil on the brows, I just kept on brushing and brushing and brushing. So I also brushed the other parts. Now for the beginning part, I really don't want it to be too scanty. I went in with color 18 to feel lightly. Now I went in with what I'm using to conceal her brows is foundation that I used on her skin. And if you actually observe her brows, I only touched the ending parts and a little bit of the beginning parts. The other places that there is enough hairs, I didn't touch it. So this works for someone that has much hairs, please. If the person doesn't have much hair, just draw your normal brows. So I still went in correcting. So now I went in with a powder to apply on the brows. So now I'm going in with my foundation to conceal the brows. I'm trying to correct all those places that looks too big. See, one thing you should know is that the meaning of concealing means cleaning excess. So I correct from the under, then I'll be removing a little, like very little from the top. So just watch how I do that. Please, while doing this, I had a serviette on my hand. So please. So now I am blending using my blending brush, a small blending brush. I went in with my concealer brush again because I felt like I still haven't gotten what I want. So when it comes to concealing, always take your time. When it comes to doing skin work, always take your time. Okay, your brows, your skin work, and your eye work, just take your time. Take your time. So you just watch the way I do that. something with a cream highlight. When they say a cream highlight, you've heard of bronzer. Yes, the cream type instead of powder type. I applied that first, and the brand I'm using is Miss Mystic. Check Miss Mystic on Instagram. Okay, that's the brand I'm using. I use a blending foam for this. It helps to get that flash. You see that flash when the light hits the forehead, it gives it that flash. So that is what I'm using. But the thing is that you don't need to apply this too much, because if you apply it too much, your makeup will start pulling out because it's oily in nature, and you already know that oil and makeup, they don't go in place. So after that, I went in with bronzer from Younger Beauty, which is the powdered one. Just for your bronzer, you just apply lightly. You don't need to apply too much. Apply your bronzer lightly. So after that, I had to go in with my mascara. Sorry, I had to put the lashes off camera because my model was so teary. So I had to turn off the lights to put the lashes. You already know how to put lashes, so that's not a problem. So I just sealed up her face lightly with my Silly spray, which is very important. So this is the end product of a bridal glam without filter. A long-lasting bridal glam that everybody would love, even the pastor, without filter. Okay, thanks for watching. If there are more questions, let me know in the class. Thank you. Bye.